From New York, free TVs just for looking at our timeshare condos. It's Late Night with David Letterman. Tonight, from Law & Order, actor Paul Sorvino, supermodel Elle MacPherson, musician Lou Reed, and author Jim Dwyer, plus Paul Schaefer and the world's most dangerous band. And now, Time's Man of the Year, David Letterman.
Welcome to the show, kids. I'm the host, and my name's Dave. Thank you for dialing us up tonight. Let me tell you something humorous that happened to me last night. You ever get an appliance in your house and then you can't? Oh, no. That's a different story. There's a woman in the audience who was telling us that she bought a refrigerator, and it's a whole different story. No, we'll get to that story a little bit later. No, I'm talking about my CD player. There they are. Right? It turns out this very nice woman bought a brand new refrigerator, and as you can see, she couldn't be happier with the. But anyway, I'm at home last night, and I'm playing around in my home entertainment center, and I have the CD player there. And are you like me? Are you fascinated by electronic gadgets? Man, they drive me nuts. I'm saying to myself almost daily, how does this work? So, just for the fun of it, I open the drawer, the little CD thing slides out, and I put in a pancake. And from dinner, you know, we'd had pancakes at the house. And I'm goofing around, I slid the pancake in there and closed it and pushed play, and I swear to goodness, for one brief, exhilarating second, I thought I heard Aunt Jemima sing. I swear to you. I think it... Refrigerator explode, did it, ma'am? Kill some of the neighbors? I know, okay. Well, I guess first week in January, Time magazine named their Man of the Year. Ted Turner was named Man of the Year. Thank you, Jane. I know he appreciates that. And today, Time magazine named their Uncle of the Year, Ted Kennedy. So there you go. That's all you really... I'll be the first one to tell you I don't understand much about politics. Now, maybe you folks can help me with this. Earlier, I guess it was like a week ago, George Bush announces finally and formally and officially the Cold War is over. Okay, all right, so the Cold War is over. Now, today in New Hampshire at a luncheon, Dan Quayle says the Cold War is on. And be sure to drink plenty of fluids. So, what the hell? Thank you. I'll pass those booze on to our vice president. You know, I don't know why you would kid yourself and not watch this. What's the matter? Oh. I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch tonight's program. Paul Sorvino is with us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Fine actor. I was reading his biography, and it turns out he's been in many, many films. And every film Paul Sorvino has been in, he's played a character named Paulie. It's just how that works. Also, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, a little something special for you tonight. Leggy supermodel Elle MacPherson is in. That's right. Yes, we're running a USO club here tonight. We had men in uniform in here, and we bring out the babes, and they couldn't be happier. Next week, Marines on leave, so tune in for that. Lou Reed is also on tonight's program. And the gentleman who at one time was the New York Newsday subway columnist, Jim Dwyer, is with us tonight. Now, here's our friend Paul Schaefer. He's right over there. Hey, boys. Hey, boys.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Bailey. Hey, Bailey.
That is marvelous.
Hey, Bailey. Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I guess, Bob Hope, if were he to go over to a demilitarized zone...
That's right.
He would take probably Jerry Colonna, Joey Heatherton.
Yes.
And we have Paul Sorvino and Elle MacPherson, and I'm just thrilled to be alive.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you.
Have you noticed how warm it is here in the city? I tell you what, because the weather has gone nuts all over the United States. Earlier today, or maybe late last night in the Detroit, Michigan area. Anybody here from Detroit? Great. Can I get a ride home? Thank you very much. They had like 16 inches of snow. Did you hear that? Yeah. And here in New York City, Hal, if you could, give us a little current meteorological data. Press it right up there on the screen, and let's take a look and show the folks. All right. Temperature right now is 52 degrees. This is January. What is the date today, Morty? January the Momding. The what?
January 14th.
January 14th, and but it's unbelievably warm for this time of year. Is that a record? Oh, no, we're not even near a record. What the hell am I talking about? Back in 46, the record was 70 degrees, and in 1876, 3 degrees. Yeah, but you know why they're saying this is, don't you?
Why is it?
El Nino. El Nino.
El Nino.
Yes, it's a pool of warm tropical water that kind of sneaks up the coast of Baja out in the Pacific, and it affects and moderates and changes all weather patterns.
El Nino.
El Nino! Say it again, Paul.
El Nino.
No. El Nino! Come on, let me hear it.
El Nino!
Yeah, thank you very much.
Get Elle MacPherson out here, then you'll see something.
I want to tell you another story about Elle MacPherson. Before the broadcast tonight, I wanted to welcome her back to the program, so I had Mary Connolly, staff member Mary Connolly, who's in charge of Elle MacPherson tonight. I said, could you introduce me to Elle or show me where she is? I want to say hello. And she says, okay. So we go over and we knock on her door, and she's in there, and she says, yes, who is it? That was me doing Elle MacPherson. And Mary Connolly says, it's Mary Connolly and Dave. And she says, there's a little pause, and she says, what's it about? She wasn't all that eager to talk to me. Yeah.
She didn't know
What do you
it
have?
was you.
We're getting a little something here. It's
She
the
didn't
what?
know it was you.
Today is Wednesday the 15th. Today is tomorrow. Oh, thank you. Very nice. One of those old Chinese proverbs. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. It's Wednesday the 15th today. Well, look at that. She's coming out here in leather. She's coming out here in leather. We're going to need some talcum powder. Today is tomorrow. And now some more Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Since it is the beginning of the year, it's 1992, and we think to ourselves, now, what better time than now to start improving the show? And so we're going to show you tonight some things we hope to do to improve our television program. First of all, beginning today, every time I tell a joke, I'll be making one of those wacky comedy faces like this. And you'll hear that goofy sound effect. Now, we want this show to be more reality-based as well, like those programs Cops and America's Most Wanted. So we're going to be using this cellular phone monitor to pick up telephone conversations in the area. Here, let me switch this on. Let's listen now.
Is this the New York Taxi Cab Commission? I want to make a complaint.
Do you get that? Even the Even the commissioner doesn't speak English. Now, here's something else we're proud of, and I think we're the only show that has this. This is a special paint sniffing section for our studio audience members. Take a look at that. This is, there you go. The audience member is now enjoying some paint. They're up there sniffing paint. All you need to know is today is tomorrow. You know, it's an election year, and we realize our responsibility is to inform. So once again, we'll be bringing you gavel-to-gavel coverage of both the Democratic and Republican political conventions, hosted by our own Paul Schaefer and stage manager Biff Henderson. Next, you asked for it. Here it is, incredibly high-powered lighting. There you go. Here's another swell extra, free HBO. These are things we're going to try to do to improve the show. Not necessarily improve tonight's show. You can also look forward to more classic Victor Borge-style comedy from our own Paul Schaefer. Paul? You know how sad this is, ladies and gentlemen? We're stealing material from an 80-year-old Danish piano player, and it's the hit of the night! You can also look for some personnel changes on the program. Larry Bud Melman will be entering a federal witness protection program, so he'll be looking and sounding a little different. Isn't that right, Larry?
Right you are, Mr. Letterman.
Okay. Thanks, Larry. Bye. Ought to get that suit in a protection program. Thank you very much. And finally, here's what we hope will be the comedy hit of the year. We call it Fun with a Bug Lamp. Watch this. Okay, there you go. Just a couple of ways we're going to try to improve our program for 1992. We're going to do a commercial. Paul Sorvino is here. Elle MacPherson is here. Can you hear that? The reason the weather is odd now is what, Paul?
El
Nino.
El Nino.
Yeah, and how about some kind of Spanish musical flourish to accompany that?
It's a little Spanish music.
All right, say it. Yeah. El Nino. All right. No. I'm trying to make something out of nothing, and
I know.
it's still nothing. We should get that Victor Borge on the show.
Now you're talking.
And also, I don't even know if I should mention this. During the commercial, I went into the makeup room to say hello again to Elle MacPherson. And she's a little embarrassed because I told the story about not answering the door. And she says, should I say it or not?
Well, you might as well. Might as well say it.
Let me see if it's okay with the sailors. Is it all right, guys, if we say a little? Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to offend them. She says, I couldn't come to the door. I was naked. The boys are getting their hats and checking out. Our first guest has been in motion pictures that include Goodfellas, played the character Paulie in that. Also, Dick Tracy. He is one of the stars of NBC's hit series Law and Order. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is once again, Paul. Back to the program. Paul, you know what Paul Sorvino was singing? You know what opera that was from?
I don't.
El Nino! Our next guest helped define the term leggy supermodel. She is one of the most famous and successful models working today, and she also has her own brand new 1992 calendar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the program leggy supermodel Elle MacPherson. Oh, Elle! I feel like I've had 2 weeks off now.
Welcome along.
Nice to see you. You look wonderful. Thank you very much. Oh, man, look at those deals. You look great. And let me just thank you here for putting up with our tomfoolery. It's all good-natured. You know, we think the world of you.
I realize that. It was a nice surprise to see you backstage.
Yes, wasn't it? Well, where should we begin? First of all, Happy New Year. What did you do for New Year's? Where did you celebrate?
I was in Aspen, Colorado.
Ah, that's where the beautiful people go to ski. That's what
I don't know about that. That's where there was very good snow this year.
Mm-hmm. Do you ski well?
Reasonably well.
Yeah.
I like to ski. That's most important.
Do you use the long skis or the short skis?
They're all long.
Really? I thought there were two methods of skiing. Yeah, the long skis or the short skis.
That's true. If you're going to do the bumps, you know, and hot dogs and stuff like that, which I don't do.
No, you can't do that. The moguls,
no.
yeah.
Moguls.
Interestingly enough, when I was a child, for a time being, we had a family living next door to us named Short Ski.
No.
Just kind of flashed back to when I was like 3 or 4. The short skis, I don't know, they moved. The old man got transferred and they moved to Toledo.
Poor thing.
So that's where you spent Christmas and New Year's?
No, Christmas in New York. My very first Christmas away from Australia. I had a Christmas tree and stuff like that in New York.
Right.
And then I went on the 27th.
Oh, you know, I think that for people who may not live here or are not familiar with New York City, if you can come for the holidays, it's the best time.
It was so great. I mean, it was like a dream, especially for an Australian. I mean, you know, I'm used to summer kind of Christmases. The decorations and everything like that, it's really magic.
Your home city in Australia is what?
Sydney.
Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
And Christmas, obviously, is their summer down there. So it's beer, you're sitting around
prawns,
eating
Barbie.
Cheese, getting sweaty.
Exactly, going to the beach.
And you have, now you're not going to be in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue this year. How come?
Well, actually, it's a bit sadder. It's been a long time I've been working for Sports Illustrated,
Right.
and I missed not working with them this year, but it's a bit difficult to do kind of promote my own calendar and to promote their calendar at the same time.
Conflict of interest, you're saying?
Not really conflict of interest, just a lot of work.
Oh, too much work.
And and I just figure, you know, it was time for me to do something
On your own.
you know, and not rely on a big institution, because they can just kind of...
Yes, I know, but I think you, and I don't know the figures, but I think you probably have sold more swimsuit magazines for them than any other model, wouldn't you think?
Such a sweet
I mean, don't people identify you with that?
Yes, isn't he sweet?
This is a great... Thank you. All right, do you mind if we look at the calendar a little bit? Okay. Now, what is the concept of the calendar? It's you all over the world in exotic locations?
In my favorite places. I decided for this calendar I was going to go to my favorite places. So there's some places, some in Australia, in Tahiti, in Bali, in the Bahamas.
Ever been to Gary, Indiana?
No, I haven't. But is that an invitation?
Oh, beautiful. Yes, I have
We can go on a hot date there.
I have a timeshare there in Gary. It's kind of a vacation place. I get it a couple of months in August. We'll go right out.
Fabulous.
A couple of weeks in August. All right, let's just look at a couple of these. These are lovely. All taken by the same photographer?
Yes.
Taken by a man or a woman?
A man.
And this is a man you've worked with before, you feel comfortable with?
Reasonably.
Okay. All right, where was that taken?
This was taken in the Bahamas.
Get you right out of those wet things. You'll catch your death of clothes.
I know.
Catch your death of clothes. Here we have, this is something here. This says, Lazy Sunday at Home.
It's not really at home.
But you getting ready to watch Meet the Press there, I guess?
No, I'm getting ready to watch football.
This week with David Brinkley. Yeah.
Me just hanging out watching the Super Bowl.
Lazy Sunday at home, Paul. Yeah, you certainly are lovely. All right, let's take a look at a couple other ones. Here, there was one I wanted to ask you about the sand.
Look at the problem there.
You know, the kids could go tenting in this. Why?
Multi-purpose calendar.
I can't seem to get to the one where there's sand. Oh, here. I just wanted you to look at it. We were looking at this in the office. This is a beautiful series of photos. Where were these taken?
They were taken in Australia.
All right, Hal, can you get down in here on this one? I just want you to look at the smile on this camel's face.
That's the reason why I chose it. I'm glad you noticed that.
This camel knows humps, you know what I mean? Stop it. I know, it's just now let me just find the sandy one. How are we doing? Oh, it's time to go? I'll decide when it's time to go tonight, thank you.
I'm going to stay here for the rest of the evening.
Oh, here it is. Oh, my, look at this one. Good Lord Almighty.
So?
There we go.
I sat down, and then I sat back up again. And that's how it was.
I would like to come back as a whisk broom. If I can come back in another life, would that it were. Well, I think that's enough cheap, ugly remarks for one night, don't you? It's a lovely piece of work, and it's on sale now, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. How much does that cost?
I don't know.
Yeah.
$13.95 maybe.
Pretty good. Probably sell millions. Don't you think?
I don't know. It's done very well. We sold 130,000 in Australia.
Wow.
Which is pretty good. I mean, we're only
Very
15
good.
million people
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm working on next year's now.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Good for you.
We'll have to come up with an idea.
You want to hang around? Or do you have to go? Does she have to go? What are we doing? What are we doing next?
I'll stay.
What are we doing?
I'm here.
Huh? We'll do a station identification. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You know who we look like a little bit there?
Who do we look like?
Regis and Kathy Lee. Just a little bit like that.
Watch out, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. With us tonight is Elle MacPherson is here. Lou Reed will be out here in a couple of minutes. And Jim Dwyer will be joining us. He's written a fascinating book about riding on the subways here in New York City.
Sounds wonderful.
Ever been on the subways here?
Not for a long time.
You smell nice. You smell great. You know, it's your cologne and your jacket. It's like being in a really smells like being in a really good luggage store.
I guess that's a compliment.
Oh, it is a compliment. Oh, yes,
Thank you.
yes. Tomorrow on the program, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to jot this down on your sheets. Lee Merrick will be here with some kind of a scientific demonstration for us. Comedian George Miller will be here with some sort of comedy demonstration. and our old friend and one of the hosts of the Today Show. You know, the Today Show is 40 years old. They've been on the air for 40 years. I'll tell you how old the Today Show is on. They were on before television. Really? That's not true. No, people used to just leave their homes and come down and watch them do it in an empty room. The Today Show started out in a church basement. That's the truth. Yeah, and people would come in there and just sit down in folding chairs and watch them do their little. Well, it was more of a skit in those days.
No.
And from that, it evolved into the show we know today.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I'm nothing if not fascinating. And anyway, Joe Garagiola will be with us tomorrow on the program. Now, we're going to do a commercial. We'll be back here with Lou Reed, kids. Hold that up. Hold the book. Lou Reed, Paul, great as ever. Lou Reed, terrific job. And I must say, I don't want to embarrass you, I think some of your best tambourine playing ever.
This is a real instrument.
I understand.
Don't forget it.
I know, I'm not.
It's an instrument.
I'm not mocking you, believe me. Are you ready to bring out our next guest?
Here we are.
Yeah, I love this.
Is this
This
what we're doing
co-host format is working out swimmingly, don't you think? Our next guest was the subway columnist for New York Newsday. and is the author of this book. I'll look right up. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Subway Lives. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the author, Jim Dwyer. Jim, come on out and say hello to us. Yeah, do you mind? Elle MacPherson, Jim Dwyer, nice to see you. Come on over here, Jim. Yeah. Have a seat. Welcome to the show. It's a leggy supermodel.
Yes, I see. Yeah.
It's a little like being on the D train, isn't it?
You get sweaty, yeah.
That's it. First of all, tell me about your column. I didn't realize that the New York Newsday had a Subway column. Were you the originator of the column?
I was the second.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it was a daily column, a weekly column?
God, no, 3 times a week.
3 times a week, and you would chronicle the activities, the comings and goings of the subway and the system and the people and
The
so on.
goings, the stoppings, the waitings.
All right. Let's just start with a couple of general questions about the system. Compared to other mass transit systems in the world, how is it good? Is it bad? Does it stink?
Well, you know, a couple of years ago, they wanted to, we have these turnstiles.
Yes.
You put a token in and you go in. But this is very old, and they wanted to get something more modern. So they sent a guy around the world, and he had a good chance to compare all the turnstiles in Brazil and everything. So, but when he went to Brazil, he wanted to test them to see if they would work like the New York turnstiles. So he took a box of French fries and shoved them into the coin slot, and then he got some ketchup and squirted that down the gullet of the French. And this is before the eyes of the horrified Rio subway people, and they told him they didn't have any problems like that, except that at night sometimes people would come home late from a party and they would use the coin slot to relieve themselves. So their solution in Rio was to make the return come right out on your foot.
Oh, my.
Turnstile justice.
But hygiene notwithstanding, is it a good system in that it accomplishes its intended purpose, or...
it's tremendous. I mean,
How did you get here tonight?
I took the subway.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Right into the building?
Right under the door, 4 stops. I mean, you got 4 trains that stop down here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll have to get down there one day.
A month.
But is it on time? Is it late? And I can remember being on the subway, and it seems like 1 out of every 2 or 3 trips, it would just stop, and you'd sit there in a darkened tunnel for no real reason. And one time we just had to climb out. I mean, is that just all part of it, or is we got real problems?
What do you want for $1.25?
Yeah, I suppose so. Is it dangerous, more dangerous than people think, or not as dangerous?
I had this experience a couple of years ago. I just found out the CIA actually came here and tested poison gas in the tunnels. And they had this guy come along. He was, calculator on the waist and the glasses and everything. And he invented all sorts of great stuff. He invented fluorescent lights that would, zoom out your eyes, and galoshes that would melt your feet. So they sent him into the subways with a group of helpers. And they had little light bulbs, and they went from station to station throwing these bulbs with little foofs of supposedly innocuous gas. And this didn't come out for many years, but when it finally did come out, people said, why are they wasting money on it? Poison gas for a subway ride? We're marinated in anthrax from the minute we get down there. And what we're really afraid of is oxygen.
Yeah. But why were they testing poison gas in the subway
They
system?
wanted to see if, the Russians would come and take over the subways or something. I don't know. I mean, I thought they had enough problems.
Gee, I'm confused by that. You mean while people were riding the subway cars, they're setting off poison gas down there?
Well, they said it was innocuous. They wanted to see if the Russians could come. And
it's the safe kind of poison gas.
Yes, it's the good kind.
What am I thinking of? That harmless poison gas.
Yeah.
What about the problem of people leaping turnstiles and also people sucking tokens out of the device?
Well, yeah. They have a thing in the turnstile where if you jam it up with paper or something like that, put your token down, it'll get suspended, and eventually the usual commuter or strap hanger rushing off to work will get waved through the gate. Then the sucker comes out, puts his lips on the thing, and actually sucks it right out.
Right.
And this was very low-tech, disgusting technique.
Yeah.
That it was so disgusting even the transit authority here in New York could not solve it until one of the clerks came out with a jar of red cayenne pepper and shoved it into the turnstile, and every time the sucker came along, he got a mouthful of that.
Yeah. Now there are. Can you quickly, Jim? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, kids. I feel like I'm Chuck Woolery arranging a second date now. The story about the woman and the axe on the subway. The people are about to accost her, and she has the hatchet. What was that?
Well, this woman, Lila Khan, she's a tremendous Chinese cook and actress, and she was coming home one night. She cooked down in Soho at a good restaurant, and used to bring all her own cutlery because the stuff down there was no good. And she was coming home about 2 o'clock in the morning. She was in what I call subway glaze, which is this sort of state of non-sleep in which your eyes are closed, but if you have to run for your life, you can't right away. So she was sitting down there, and she's sitting there all alone in subway glaze, and along comes these 4 or 5 folks who just crowd right in next to her, an empty car. And one on either side of her, a couple on the other side, and she doesn't know what to do until she realizes what's in her bag. So she reaches in, pulls out the cleaver, and slowly begins to pare her fingernails. And the ones on either side of her didn't know what was going on, but the guys across from her looked at her and said, "Oh no, it's Mama Kung Fu."
Yeah,
Right out of the car.
Absolutely. Take your own cutlery when traveling by subway. All right, let's do another commercial. We'll be right back, kids. Hey, all right. The book is called Subway Lives. It's a great idea for a book. I'm sure it'll do quite well for you.
Hope so.
Yeah, okay. You're not paying attention, are you? My thanks also to Lou Reed and Paul Sorvino. Elle and I will be back tomorrow night. Thanks for being here. Good night, everybody.